Coming up, we wake up in a storm.
Make a mess of our windows. Yeah. Explore the city of York by day and by night.
Eat, drink and be merry.
And make some rookie mistakes. We've got thermals and gloves in the van.
Yeah. We arrived in York quite late and headed to York Racecourse, as we had planned on doing the park run there in the morning. We squeezed in between some motorhomes and got our heads down for the evening, for free. The rain turned to hailstones in the night, followed by bits of tree hitting the van. We were expecting cold weather, but hadn't expected a storm.
By falling trees as Storm Arwen hit parts of the UK with high winds, rain and snow. The storm caused damage across Scotland, Northern England, the Midlands and Wales, with winds of nearly 100 miles an hour, leaving more than 100,000 homes without power. There are further weather warnings across the UK today, as Emily Union reports.
Winter is coming.
On the plus side, our preparations for stealth sleeping had worked well, with no condensation. We'd opened the windows for airflow and shaved the windows before we set off. So, to help prevent condensation on your windows, especially when you're trying to be stealthy, we use shaving gel. Yes, shaving gel. Not foam. Definitely make sure you get the gel. And yeah, smooth it on. Quick tidy up. Make sure everything's all out the way. Bit of gel, not too much. And smooth it on. Bit of a messy job, but it's fun and it does work. As you smear, the white will disappear and eventually. That's why you don't want to put too much on, because you will be smearing all day. Don't put too much on, he says. Don't put too much on. Hopefully it works this time for me. But if it doesn't work, van smells amazing and it's good fun. Any shaving gel will do, but if you love your van, Gillette, the best a van can get. Can have that. Thought of that myself.
And we know how to make the most of who you are. Gillette, the best a man can get.
And now when you breathe on it, nothing. We had planned to meet up with a stranger here at the racecourse, as we had a deal going down. But the wind and rain meant no run for us. Change of plan. We're not doing the park run, we're going to go and find some breakfast. We found a local cafe with some great reviews and managed to get the last 2 seats before the queue started forming. We had a very tasty breakfast and completed the deal with our stranger friend. Hi Brompton. You sad? Can't believe you sold your bike.
Well, I can't believe that we sold it to somebody in the location that we're going to have a little look around.
Just so happened to be here. Fear not, Brompton fans.
New Brompton on order.
Typical for us, our next stop involved alcohol. We arrived at the Yorkshire Heart Vineyard and Brewery and was greeted by the owner and her dogs. Nice greeting, eh? We had booked the wine tasting session and was lucky enough to hear a group having the full tour, being told about how the wines are produced and the awards they have won.
While I'm talking about rosé, I would like to tell you something about our rosé. This sounds like I'm bragging. I probably am. There's a competition held each year called...
The wines and nibbles went down very well, and we obviously bought a bottle to take home. We'll be back to do the full tour next time.
That was really nice, that was.
Was good.
Lovely little lunch. Very nice wine. Very cute. Might be nice to come back if the weather's a bit nice.
Yeah, have a little tour.
Yeah. Oh wow, the sun is shining now. There was a glimpse of sun as we left the vineyard. We hoped the day would brighten up as we'd planned to walk the city walls. But we'd be sorely disappointed.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, York is quite expensive to park in, so we're using the park and ride. Not allowed to sleep here, so we're just going to set the van up ready for when we get back, because it's going to be very dark later, and we just want to make sure everything's ready. So that's what we're going to do now. Yeah, so we've got double-sided window blinds, reflective foil on the one side, carpet on the other. And for stealthy, which is what we're going to have to use tonight, we're using the carpet side out. Blinds are on, beds down. I think we're good to go. Thank you. The park and ride works well. Cheap enough, and it only takes about 10 minutes. We arrived in the city expecting quiet streets and shops because of the weather. But no, Northerners are made of tough stuff. We had some time before our next booking, so we hit the shops, mainly to stay warm. This looks like the kind of place you'd find a mogwai for sale.
Mogwai not for sale.
Apparently, York is the most haunted city in Europe. We're not entirely sure how this is measured, but we were hoping to find out later on the ghost tour.
Winter is coming.
Did I see you get all excited then? And someone spotted another way to keep warm.
There you go. Oh, that's amazing. Unfortunately, as prepared as we'd like to think we are, we still chose to leave the van in not very sensible clothes. It's only been a few weeks since we visited Liverpool, where the weather was fine and warm, but winter is definitely coming. The temperature was only just above freezing, and Converse were a bad choice. So some thick socks were hunted down, and some new toasty gloves.
That better?
Yeah. Warm feet, warm fingers.
There's no such thing as the wrong weather, just the wrong clothes.
Yeah.
And we've got thermals and gloves in the van.
Yeah.
We explored the famous market and then found York's most famous street. Our first top 10 tourist attraction, the Shambles.
Welcome, Harry, to Diagon Alley.
It is thought to be the inspiration for Harry Potter's Diagon Alley, and you can see why.
Here's where you get your quills and your ink. And over there, all your bits and bobs for doing your wizardry.
With more time and better weather, the York Lucky Cat Trail sounds like a fun way to explore the city. And you can get your map here. The Shambles was known in days gone by as the Great Flesh Shambles, lined with butchers hanging their meat, dripping in the streets. It's a much more pleasant place to spend time nowadays. The York Chocolate Story offers tours to explore why York is known as the UK's home of chocolate.
That's a different shell for that one. They normally put that in a different shell, just to try and trick us.
Do you have to pre-book the tour?
Yeah, next available time slots at 4:30 today.
We had to give this a miss, as it was time for our next booking of the day. Another top 10 tourist attraction, York Minster.
Time to have a look around York Minster.
Not Minster. Minster. The cathedral has history dating back nearly 1400 years, and it took centuries to complete. A few weeks ago, we were in Liverpool Cathedral that was immense, and it was hard not to compare. York Minster had a more touristy feel, firstly because entry was charged, and initially it felt cold and quiet. We did become more impressed as we discovered more of its history and its Gothic architecture. Stepping down into the crypt was quite eerie. The tomb of York's patron saint, St. William, can be seen here. And like Liverpool's cathedral, it also has a few world records of its own, like the largest expanse of medieval stained glass in the world. With snow starting to fall, and the new socks no longer helping to keep warm, someone needed a little rest before we left.
It seems like the Shambles leads to all destinations in York, including our next stop, the Jorvik Viking Centre. This is something I remember seeing on Blue Peter as a child and have always wanted to visit.
York was invaded in 866 AD by the charming sounding Ivor the Boneless. The city was captured and became the Viking capital of northern England. With talks from knowledgeable Viking staff, you are transported back in time via an automated time capsule ride. You're taken through reconstructed Viking settlements with animated figures created using skeletons found in the area. With the characters speaking languages of old, temperatures changing and different smells along the journey, it does a good job of showing how York may have been 1,000 years ago. With more historical finds and artefacts on show, the obligatory exit through the store completes your visit, and the ticket price includes another visit within 12 months.
With a further noticeable drop in temperature and heavier snow falling, we had to admit defeat to our stupidity and get kitted up in some more suitable clothes and footwear.
Winter is here.
Temporarily drier and warmer again, we strolled around the Christmas market. This is the real reason why we needed to sleep for free this weekend. Joe loves the Christmas market, and this could have been very expensive. But Storm Arwen hit us even harder.
We gave the ghost tour a miss.
Please look to Babushka, the Russian story you might have heard of. And the story goes, remember? Baby Jesus, Mary, Joseph, 3 kings, shepherds and the witch. Huh? Now I think you remember now, right?
And made our way a little earlier than planned to our final booking of the day for some food. This is the first time we've ever been to a fully vegan restaurant, the Orchid.
We had read the excellent reviews online and were intrigued by the Vegan King Prawns and Aromatic shredded vegan duck. How do they do that? Joe is happy to skip meat dishes and is not normally a fan of fake meats. But these starters were a very convincing vegan version of their meat originals. We ordered plenty from the menu and were very, very impressed with all of the dishes, as were the other customers we spoke to there, both vegan and non-vegans. It is definitely worth a visit, whatever your diet choice, and we'll be back to check out more of the dishes that we had no more room for this time. It was time to return to Feebee on the park and ride bus, before heading off for our stealthy night's sleep. We had checked a few areas on Google Maps before we left, so we had a few options. With the back of the van prepared earlier, this should be straightforward. Now the hard part. Right, squeeze your bum over.
It's easier said than done.
Come on, stealthy. The sun's coming up. Once in the back with the blanket up, we covered our LEDs so from the outside we shouldn't be noticeable in our bright green van. And we had an undisturbed good night's sleep. The next morning we were expected to be greeted by a nice clear windscreen. Whoa. Is that on the inside? To be fully stealthy, you should not leave your van with very obvious bed hair. I'm going to get some shots. It turned out the frost was on the inside. The temperature had dropped to below freezing and the shaving gel and breath had frozen. Luckily, it didn't take too much clearing with the engine on. Again, not so stealthy, but we were off within a few minutes.
must have been wrong, 'cause your love is strong for him. Why would it not be? He's always there for you. I keep living alone, way so far from home. Free, but ready to flee from this all. Oh, to be standing on your own. Oh, to be standing on your own.
New Brompton on order.
What a face. Stop looking at my own face. Yes.
Oh,
And bless you.
we'll cut the sneeze out,
Minster. York Cathedral.
I will put that in.
We'd like to thank the sponsor of this week's video, Gillette. The best a van can get. What am I doing?